Did you know about what really happened the night Nicole Brown Simpson was murdered, which shocked the entire world? In the early hours of June 13, 1994, one of the most shocking murder cases in American history began unfolding in a quiet neighborhood of Los Angeles. Two bodies were discovered outside a condominium in Brentwood. The victims were 35-year-old Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend, Ronald Goldman. The crime scene was brutal, and investigators immediately realized this case would attract massive attention. But nobody could have predicted just how enormous it would become, because Nicole's ex-husband was none other than O.J. Simpson, one of the most famous athletes in America. A former football superstar, a Hollywood actor, a national celebrity who seemed to have everything. At first, many people couldn't believe his name was even connected to the murders. But detectives soon uncovered evidence that pointed directly toward Simpson. Blood matching both victims was allegedly found near his home and inside his white Ford Bronco. A bloody glove was discovered at his estate. There were also reports of a long history of domestic violence between O.J. and Nicole. As police prepared to arrest him, something unbelievable happened. Instead of surrendering quietly, O.J. Simpson disappeared. On June 17th, millions of Americans stopped what they were doing to watch live television coverage of a white Ford Bronco slowly driving down a Los Angeles freeway, while police cars followed behind it. Inside the Bronco was O.J. Simpson. The low-speed chase became one of the most surreal moments in television history. Helicopters hovered overhead while reporters narrated every second. Some people gathered on bridges cheering him on as if it were a sporting event instead of a murder investigation. Eventually, Simpson returned to his home and surrendered peacefully. Then came the trial, and the trial would soon divide an entire country. The prosecution argued that O.J. Simpson had murdered Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman in a jealous rage. They presented DNA evidence, blood samples, shoe prints, and the infamous black leather gloves. The defense team, however, fought back aggressively. Led by a powerful group of attorneys nicknamed the Dream Team, they argued that the investigation had been mishandled and that key evidence could not be trusted. They also accused Detective Mark Furman of racism, which became a major turning point in the case. One moment from the trial would become legendary. Prosecutors asked Simpson to try on the black gloves found at the crime scene. In front of the jury, the gloves appeared too tight for his hands. That moment inspired the famous defense phrase, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The courtroom became a non-stop media circus. Cameras captured every reaction, every argument, and every emotional testimony. Millions of people watched daily updates and debates about race, celebrity, police corruption, and justice spread across America. After nearly 9 months of testimony, the jury finally reached a verdict. On October 3, 1995, the world waited in silence. O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of the murders. The verdict shocked millions. Some people celebrated, believing the prosecution had failed to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Others were outraged, convinced that a guilty man had escaped justice because of fame, money, and a brilliant legal defense. But the story did not end there. In 1997, the families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman filed a civil lawsuit against O.J. Simpson. Unlike the criminal trial, the burden of proof was lower. This time, the jury found Simpson liable for the deaths and ordered him to pay millions of dollars in damages to the victims' families. Even decades later, the case remains one of the most controversial trials ever seen. To some, it exposed flaws in the justice system. To others, it revealed how race and celebrity could influence public opinion. And for many people, it marked the moment true crime became a non-stop media obsession in America. The murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman remain unforgettable, not only because of the crime itself, but because the case transformed television, journalism, and the entire American legal system forever.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crime stories history.